Last year I decided I was in my Facebook marketplace era, and I went on the hunt. After many misses, disappointments, and regretful purchases, who else finds it hard to say you've changed your mind once you're there? I finally found this gem for 20 bucks. I was stoked. The man said that he'd taken it from a Victorian home he once lived in, and he'd been using it for storage in his workshop, and you could tell, it was filthy. My plan was to clean it up and use it for linen storage, which my house is sorely lacking. After sitting for a month in our carport, we hauled it out and assessed the state of it. Under the layers of paint and grime and spider webs was cedar. The shelves are pine, as is the beadboard backing. The surface had a lot of wear and tear, but the real damage was from borers. Most of the borer damage was to the lower two shelves. We're fairly certain it wasn't an active infestation, but we did treat it, just to be sure. While I was vacuuming the inside, it became clear the damage was pretty severe when the sawdust just kept coming out of it. I decided that I would worry about that later and focused on cleaning it up so that I could strip all those layers of paint off. And because this piece is quite old, I ordered this lead paint test kit online to be sure there wasn't any lead in the paint that I'd be stripping. I tested several spots on the armoire, and I tried to get at the areas that had different layers exposed. There were a lot of layers of paint, and also anywhere there was wood showing where there might be stain that could possibly have lead in it. I'm shocked. Then I got ready to strip it. I chose this stripper because it is more health conscious and environmentally friendly. It's water-based, non-caustic, and low VOC. But you do have to put a really thick layer on, and I always need more than I think I do. Then you let it sit for an hour, and if I actually get enough, it's always so satisfying to see it just bubble up and then strip down to the wood in one swipe. At this stage, this reminds me of my shabby chic era. Six hours later, got most of the paint on the front off, and I started on the side, but too late now. We'll do some more tomorrow. Still need to fix the broken one.
Jenny was out here yesterday and stubbed her toe really badly. I gave her a speech. So Jenny's been working on this armoire. It's just getting a sand because somebody painted it back in the 1800s probably. But yeah, I told her that I'd take the doors off for her. But one of the panels is broken, so we're going to try and fix that. But we're not really sure how we're going to do it. Just we'll make it up as we go along, like most things. This is a bit of a strip show where I strip all of the heads off these screws. They're really narrow. I'm going to need better tools. Guess I'll have to go and buy some more. There we go. Well, that was lucky. I bought some new screwdrivers on the weekend for like $4 each from the second-hand store. just to pad out my toolbox a little bit. Glad I did that. I knew those old tools would come in handy. Yeah, so this panel here has been split. This board here used to have a lip on it by the looks of things that held this in place, but this is snapped off. I'm not much of a woodworker. Then what I'm thinking of doing is gluing in a piece of wood, just something like this, something small, gluing that in there alongside it, and then filling it as best I can. Now I've seen people use like wood glue and sawdust. I say Jenny has seen, so we're going to try that, see how that goes. As for this piece, yeah, we're just going to try the same. We're going to try and clean it out as much as we can, and then fill it. It'd be a shame to replace the entire panel, but you know, it may come to that. But we'll see what we can salvage first.
All right, I think I've finally gotten as much blue paint, or mostly blue paint, off as I'm going to get off. So next step is to clean the inside out, and I'll probably have to do some sanding in there. And you can see the armoire was infested with some kind of borer, and some of the shelves, this one's probably the worst, or maybe the bottom one, but they are just filled with holes. So after I have vacuumed and cleaned it all, we're going to need to fill all those holes, and we're going to paint the inside. Doing all the sanding has vibrated a whole bunch more out. So I mean, these shelves are a bit like Swiss cheese. This one might not be savable. Do you hear that? It's almost like styrofoam. That's probably not good. Pretty styrofoamy. Oh, yikes.
Yeah.
I think we'll be replacing that. Look at that. That's pretty disgusting. All right, let's go buy a new shelf. Okay, I've cleaned it. I've sanded it. Probably need to clean it again. Since we're painting the inside of this, and I'm not replacing this bottom shelf, I'm going to plaster it. Alright, I'm gonna let that dry and sand it down and see how it looks. New shelf for the armoire. Our options were putting 2 pieces of pine together or using this because there weren't any pine pieces wide enough. Alright, fits. And we're gonna fill that with cedar fill. And also these cracks over here. I'm painting the inside. I'm just oiling the outside. But it is bare wood, and also it's quite stained inside, so we're priming it first. I have this plant-based zero VOC primer. I've never used it before, so we'll see how that goes. I've used this company's paint before, which was great, so hopefully this will be just as good. Here's the color. I like it. Alright, well, one shelf down, 3 more to go. It looks pretty good. It will probably need another coat, but so far so good. I like it. Alright, I filled this with some cedar wood fill. However, now that it's dried and I've started sanding it, it's a little bit pale. So I think I'm gonna try this one next, which is bush box, but it's definitely darker. So we'll see how that looks. This is the inside at least, so it won't really show unless you open the door, of course. You can definitely see the crack that I filled, but I think maybe on the other side, if I use the darker one, it will be less obvious. Even still, it's an improvement from a broken door. You can also see I sanded this down so that it's flush. And I'm not sure this is the best way to do it, but I'm going to attempt to fill this with the darker one. You can hear Kaine downstairs under the house. Maybe I'll just do this in a couple of coats. Okay. Filling some of these holes, and then I figured I may as well just go over it and fill the big holes everywhere. Just on the front. Figured I may as well at least fill in some of the holes from nails and things. Okay, I got the whole thing sanded down and wiped down, and we are ready to oil this baby. So we're doing a 50-50 combo of mineral turpentine and boiled linseed oil, which will take a couple of coats. I'm going to start with this side because it will be against the wall, so if I screw it up, I can hide it. Directions say put it on thick so it can soak in, but let it sit for half an hour, wipe out the excess, then let it cure for 24 hours before you do the second coat. It definitely brings out all the paint flaws that I left in it. Ooh, it's so red. It's so much darker now. Now I let it sit for 30 minutes and wipe off any excess.
I like it. I think it's really good.
This side's cleaner, which is the side that will show. I just stained this so it's got some wet puddles that will soak in or get rubbed off in a bit. Okay, so I thought I was done with this last door, but when I finished, I put the stain on it, and as you can see, this was not really that visible because the unstained wood was quite pale, but now after it's been stained, you can see that there's still some residue just in some of the corners that I think we can do better. So I'm gonna try this technique where you put a little bit of spirits on it, and you can use steel wool or some sort of wire brush. This is cedar, so it's quite soft. So I'm gonna try to avoid the wire brush, but I might try this brush. So see how it goes. The other door, I just sanded the heck out of it, which probably didn't preserve the wood as nicely, and I might end up having to do that anyway on this one. But I thought I would try this first. Looks like it's getting some of it. Yeah. I don't need it to be perfect. I like the history that the nicks and dents give it. If you're gonna do the steel wool route, having a more coarse, this one's a 1. I think I read somewhere online they recommended 0001, but this one is doing pretty well. I might have to get something sharper in the corner. I can see green and blue and pink and white paint stuck in there. I have this. This would definitely I mean, you can see that definitely scratches up the wood. I mean, I do like how much it brings it up, but it's also taking wood with it. Definitely better. I would have liked to have gotten this a little better, but I cannot get that out. So we'll see what else I can do. But let's put one more coat on it and call it good. While I was weeding the other day, Kaine hauled the Armoire inside, and then we got excited and put one of the doors on. Grab some little ones.
Let me give it a close.
All right, now we put on the hardware. This will close on top of this lip. This side will have to open in order for this side to open. I got this hardware, so you'll have to just pull and open. And I couldn't find any matching, I think it's called a barrel lock, to go on the inside so that the left side will stay locked shut. I ordered this one and then realized it won't actually work. I didn't realize it had to be built in. So we just went to our local hardware store and we got this one. This will just be on the back of the door. You'll just reach around and lock it. So the left one will be locked shut. Or I make sure this is in the right spot. Oh, I think I'm bleeding. Cut myself on this. Oh, my blood's on the lock.
Have you cried at all while you're doing it?
Why?
Because then you could say that you spilt blood, sweat and tears.
I'm actively bleeding on the lock here.
Oh, gross.
We're gonna wipe my blood off.
Thanks.
There you go.
Thanks, bro.
Then go wash that off.
Oh, yeah. No,
Bam.
Here you go, let me do this.
All right. Locked. Now this one. Ta-da!